Hello, little ones. Uncle Arrow will tell a great story about perseverance magic within the Whispering Woods. Today we follow the squirrel Blue and friends as their precious treasure falls into a crystal jar. Fairy dust light begins to blink magically on the wide-open book in the warm, cozy library. Sunlight shines through, creating shimmering rainbow ribbons on the wooden boards in the tall, antique crystal jar. Bo uses his large pink padded hands to gently wipe the sparkling silver bell and table surface. Flexible long ears perk up, and large emerald eyes sparkle with absolute excitement while admiring the jar. The squirrel's tail wags back and forth joyfully, causing tiny sunlit dust particles to fall very gently. The squirrel tightly closes its eyes, letting soft whiskers gently brush against the smooth chestnut shell surface. He tilts his head up, tosses the chestnut lightly, and catches it skillfully with two front paws. Blue's hind claw accidentally catches on the rough sedge fiber, causing his smooth, moving rhythm to halt. The soft chest fluff dips down as a natural reflex makes his front paws spread for balance. He glides smoothly past the warm streaks of sunlight, heading directly toward the narrow neck crystal jar. Goldie, the golden chestnut, pierces the calm water surface, and the water slowly dips to surround it. The chestnut lands gently in the soft water, unfloating calmly and peacefully beneath the deep water surface. The squirrel shakes his head, fluffing his fur, and his pointy ears immediately perk at the sound. The wet nose touches the cold glass, and the large bushy tail behind slowly lowers down completely. High above, the shadow of Blue's claw stops helplessly, the deep water separating him from the treasure. His whiskers droop sadly, and he gently rubs his claws against the outside glass with regretful eyes. Everything is quiet, and the sunlit dust continues to fall slowly in the warm, cozy library space. He slowly extends a front paw with soft, downy fur toward the crystal jar mouth very carefully. The glass neck closely hugs the fluffy down fur, creating a peaceful but very tight, cramped feeling. The slippery glass edge causes the soft paw pads to slide down a short distance quite smoothly. The water surface dips slightly, spreading out into several extremely tiny, gentle, and slow, rippling water waves. The deep blue water completely separates the precious treasure and the sad little squirrel from each other. The tiny squirrel gently shakes his front paw without making any rushed or loud, sudden noises at all. The remarkably large bushy tail curls up to completely embrace the squirrel's body to comfort himself gently. He lies still, watching his tiny chest rise and fall slowly, without pouting or crying out loud. A tiny air bubble called the bloops separates from the chestnut shell and floats to the surface. Extremely soft footsteps touch the wooden boards, and a warm shadow covers the squirrel's tiny little body. The bear's 4 strong limbs lift and lower extremely slowly, without making any rushed or sudden sounds. Bo the bear gently moves closer to the sad little squirrel, who is currently lying down quietly. That soft paw pad is gently placed on Blue the squirrel's drooping tiny shoulder to comfort him. Bo uses his massive body covered in pure white fur to completely embrace the fluffy little squirrel. The stiff whiskers that were drooping suddenly stretch out, and the pointy ears twitch just a little. The water layer still ripples with tiny waves because Blue recently touched his claw to the surface. Throughout 8 full seconds, the massive chest slowly expands, the fur stretching rhythmically, smoothly, and very peacefully. The bear's belly slowly deflates nicely, warm breath blowing through teeth, making the soft down feathers flutter. The wet nose sniffs one long beat, and the tiny chest begins to breathe slowly and obediently. The great bushy tail that was curled up suddenly stretches out obediently and lies flat on wood. The totally calm, flat, and crystal clear water surface reflects the golden sun drops from the bottom. The water is now perfectly flat, turning into a clear mirror that completely reflects the window frame. The fluffy emerald green fur glides incredibly softly, moving steadily forward toward the beautiful crystal glass jar. Endless long ears flutter rhythmically, while the jade rabbit walks and listens carefully to everything around him. Bip's large, clear, round eyes blink very slowly as he looks right through the thick crystal glass. The crystal and water column form a natural magnifying glass, magnifying the image of the tiny potted plant. The bright sunlight shines on the shiny pebble surface, creating many soothing, sparkling, and gentle light spots. The two long rabbit ears that were drooping down suddenly perk up slightly with a joyful rhythm. The little rabbit leans forward, bringing his tiny muzzle near Blue's pointy ear, tail wagging very gently. Blue the squirrel slowly opens his dark black eyes, and the entire space fills with warm hope. Bo the bear's thick, creamy white fur sways very leisurely on his two incredibly strong hind legs. Brother Bo the bear strolls at the back, and the group moves gently to the windowsill. Sunlight reflects on the glossy surface of the pebbles, creating completely soothing and sparkling spots of light. The timid squirrel reaches out a front paw with soft downy fur toward the biggest pebble slowly. Almost immediately, the fine hairs around his front paw vibrate slightly with a truly pleasant, happy rhythm. There is no roughness or unevenness at all to hinder the incredibly soft, fluffy down fur layer. The whiskers on both sides of the muzzle twitch slightly, with pure delight upon touching the pebble. Gently prying it up from the dirt, he fully embraces the wonderfully cool gray, the Pebby's stone. Embracing the cool, the Pebby's pebble, he presses it closely against the thick fur on his chest. Gathering 3 small, the Pebbies, pebbles together at once extremely gently, without making any loud crunching sounds. The wet muzzle sniffs continuously, as Bo happily feels the wonderful scent of damp earth and sunlight. Blue's bushy tail wags slowly, and with absolute determination while carrying the pebbles toward the crystal jar. A very slight nod from Bo the bear, with no cheering sounds, only a completely synchronized silence. The hind leg footsteps carefully tiptoe, moving with great care so the pebbles do not fall down. The soft paw pads on the hind legs tiptoe and touch the wooden board smoothly, moving concertedly. Cradling the cool light gray, the Pebby's pebble close against the soft down fur, breathing rhythmically now. Ciao. The large tail perfectly helps the tiny body maintain absolute balance while moving very slowly and carefully. The long whiskers on both sides of the muzzle gently tremble, catching the wind near the jar. Instead of running around, Bip takes extremely short and slow jumps using pushing power from hind thighs. The jade green down fur falls down, completely covering the sharp claws when gently bouncing up lightly. Endless long ears flutter rhythmically while the jade rabbit walks and listens carefully to everything around him. The massive body covered in creamy white fur sways very leisurely on the 2 strong hind legs. The entire weight rests completely on the soft paw pads, then gliding perfectly smoothly, without any loud noise, feeling the peaceful heartbeat from the bear's warm chest transferring safely over to the small little squirrel. The floating Lucky Sparks green fairy dust illuminates the fluffy fur completely in the perfectly quiet space. The water completely reflects the bright light as the 3 close friends gather around the jar's mouth. Bo hunches his giant back, lowering one front paw down completely level with the wooden floorboard. The squirrel and rabbit lift their hind legs, stepping over Bo's soft fur and gently bouncing up. Bo, Bip, and Blue gather together around the narrow neck jar, and everyone is completely ready now. Handr, He uses the extremely soft feather tip at the wing edge to gently push up his glasses. The pebby's stone falls deeply down, and a perfectly round water wave spreads out entirely around it. Blue's small pointy ears twitch very gently to listen carefully to the sound that just came out. The pebby's stone glides through the water, landing gently at the bottom next to the Goldie chestnut. Several perfectly round, sparkling air bubbles separate from the pebble's surface and float up to the water. The entire mass of clear water slowly and steadily shifts up a little bit higher right now. The bright shadow of the golden chestnut Goldie reflects completely and clearly inside those truly beautiful eyes. The giant bushy tail located just behind Blue begins to wag and swing rhythmically back and forth. The small claws are already tired, but the little chest still heaves with absolutely full, bright hope. Blue's pink pads drop pebbles, Bip's jade pads drop pebbles, and Bo's soft pads also drop pebbles. Each of the pebby's pebbles falls completely steadily and directly right through the thick glass layer. The pebby's stones have formed a solid, truly soothing, and completely colorful foundation at the very bottom. The golden chestnut Goldie softly floats along with the gentle water current, obediently rising entirely up high. The wonderfully clear and cool water level has successfully risen to exactly half of the crystal jar. The long rabbit ears slowly droop down, and the eyes half close to enjoy the soothing sounds. The incredibly large muzzle gently opens wide to form a very long and entirely comfortable, relaxing yawn. The long shadows of the three little animal friends cast heavily upon the flat wooden table surface. The golden chestnut Goldie floats beautifully in the water, slowly spinning one incredibly dreamy and slow circle. Blue brings the next the pebby's stone. Claws are tired, but the chest heaves with full hope. The rising water mass clearly and successfully touches the bottom section of the narrow crystal jar neck. Blue holds his breath, eyes wide with complete hope, watching the Goldie chestnut getting very close now. Blue holds his breath, eyes wide with complete hope, watching the Goldie chestnut getting very close now. The sparkling golden Goldie chestnut slowly lifts itself higher thanks to the pebby stones at the bottom. The perfectly clear water level has completely successfully risen, halfway up inside the narrow neck crystal jar. Bip the rabbit drops of the pebby's stone, slowly lowering his long ears, enjoying the soothing sound. Bo the bear drops the pebby's stone, his large muzzle slightly opening into a comfortable yawn. Sunlight hitting the crystal jar turns warm golden orange, and the friends' shadows lengthen on the wood. The golden chestnut Goldie floats beautifully in the water, slowly spinning one incredibly dreamy and slow circle. Blue brings the next the pebby's stone. Claws are tired, but the chest heaves with full hope. The rising water mass clearly and successfully touches the bottom section of the narrow crystal jar neck. Blue's dark black eyes blink very slowly, looking straight at the chestnut moving closer day by day. Bo, Bip, and Blue look inside the jar. Blue holds his breath, hopefully watching the close chestnut. Bo, Bip. One and Blue stand beside the jar. Bip perks his ears, his face showing true patience. Bo the bear gently retracts his front paw, smiling very kindly while looking at his two friends. Bip the rabbit concentrates highly, squinting his eyes, and uses claws to grab the pebby's stone. The stone falls through the neck, Bip perks his ears, and Blue wags his tail, smiling happily. Bo the bear nods with complete satisfaction, watching the clear water mass crawl up the narrow glass. Blue the squirrel moves forward one beat, his wet muzzle aimed closely at the chestnut near surface. Close up on Blue's focused, dark eyes, he holds his breath, keeping the pebble hovering right above. Blue's bushy tail lies perfectly still in a curve. Bip the rabbit watches with total pure admiration. Bo the bear reaches out his front paw, affectionately placing the final pebble on Blue's meat pad. Blue's paw pad opens very slowly, the stone drops into the water, and the squirrel smiles contentedly. The water mass rises to the jar's top line. Bo raises an eyebrow, his white fur trembling. Goldie's smooth shell slowly emerges from the water. Bip jumps joyfully, creating beautiful golden stardust particles. Bo, Bip, and Blue gather completely around the treasure. Blue smiles with pure relief, eyes half closed. Blue totally stretches out his two front paws, using soft paw pads to touch the wet chestnut. Blue carefully uses his claws to lift the chestnut out. Clear water drops falling on the table. Blue happily closes his eyes, completely embracing the wet chestnut tightly against his heavily heaving little chest. Close-up of Bo's kind face, smiling muzzle, button eyes reflecting the warm golden light entirely perfectly. Bip stretches his neck, rubbing his pink nose on Blue's cheek. Emerald eyes sparkle with stardust. Blue bends down, wiping water off Goldie. His giant tail curls up, protecting the chestnut and himself. Afternoon sunlight turns their fur golden. Bo places his large hand protectively behind Blue and Bip carefully. Close-up of the jar mouth with full water, Bo the bear gently touches the glass edge. Goldie obediently lies exactly in Blue's sight. Blue squints deeply at the incredibly smooth and shiny shell. Blue concentrates, reaching paws near the water. His face shows completely clear excitement, pink pads trembling gently. The paw pads gently scoop the chestnut out of the water. Bo and Bip smile, watching closely. Blue presses the chestnut to his chest, closing his eyes tightly, his face showing absolute pure satisfaction. Close-up of Bo's kind face, smiling muzzle, button eyes reflecting the warm golden light entirely perfectly. Bip the rabbit bounces lightly, long ears flapping continuously to celebrate, emerald eyes sparkling with stardust. Blue bends down, wiping water off Goldie. His giant tail curls up, protecting the chestnut and himself. Afternoon sunlight turns their fur golden. Bo places his large hand protectively behind Blue and Bip carefully. Bo uses his large pad to rub Blue's head. Bo, Bip, and Blue close their eyes peacefully. Close up of the thick felt page slowly closing. The floating green Lucky Sparks dust gradually fades. Eagle Harrow slightly stretches his giant wings, then gently rubs his wing against the closed fabric book. The camera leaves the book, showing a beeswax candle flickering on the table, casting gentle yellow light. The candle slowly dies out. A thin smoke trail rises. The scene transitions to soothing dark blue. Silvery moonlight completely shines through the library window, casting blurry shadows of rustling oak leaves on wood. Uncle Arrow's shadow sits in peaceful darkness, only his kind eyes slowly closing as the frame darkens. The whole library completely fades into the deep blue night. A golden stardust speck slowly vanishes. The words, "Sleep tight, little adventurers," appear below the center logo. Wolfie silently waves at the audience. A cute braided girl sleeps soundly, hugging Bo and Bip, plushies under her Whispering Woods family blanket.